At the last round of the Grand National Cross Country Series, the competition finally put the heat on Caleb Russell. Thad Duvall, Ryan Sipes, Josh Strang, and Grant Baylor didn't make life easy on the champ, but he busted through to keep his undefeated season alive. What's next? Hello everyone, and welcome to Racer TV's continuing coverage of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. We're in upstate New York, and as expected, a huge crowd of both spectators and amateur riders on hand to do some old-fashioned racing through the woods. Jason Wigan on hand to give you the call. Our youth riders were out there this morning on bikes. We had ATVs yesterday. Here's our women's bike division. Casey Martinez, you see here, taking the win. Been racing in upstate New York for 10 years at the famous Unadilla Valley Sports Center, but today, the first time ever at the Tomahawk GNCC. Yeah, and the crowd pumped up. Rodney Tomlin, our live announcer, will take you through the start. Caleb Russell in the middle, going to try to win this one and make it 6 in a row. And the number one off the start, a bunch of Husqvarna is going to lead everyone into the first turn and out. It's the motocrosser Tyler Medaglia out of Canada grabbing the lead, but he goes wide. Josh Strang on the number 2 takes it from him, and you have Russell right there in third around the outside. Not a good start for Chris Bach back there next to last, and Bach told me he was really focusing on improving his starts this weekend. Did not work. Now Thad Duvall to the lead, and Ryan Sipes in second, so two different Husqvarnas now lead. Whoa! Russell in third, almost throws it away. And this is Medaglia, who had that All Balls Racing Hole Shot Award, but again, he's a motocross rider, so it's going to be a little tough on him in the woods. And as for Strang, who quickly got around him, he is riding with a shoulder injury today. A lot of people did not think he'd even be able to race, and I don't see him with this lead group, so Strang has already gone back. And all that leaves Thad Duvall in the lead, and Russell has taken over second from Sipes. Here's Sipes in third, the converted motocrosser, now making a living here in the woods. These two, Duvall and Russell, have been at it for a long time. They're still young, in their early 20s. They've been racing GNCC since they were in the single digits on ages, on mini cycles, and Sipes in third is learning a lot from two of the experienced hands. New this year is Duvall to the Husqvarna, racing with Fred Andrews, and KR4 helping him out. And he's extended it a little bit over Russell, who's under some heat from Sipes. This track pretty rocky, as you can see. Now they're into the fast stuff. And Duvall pulling away. Had a bunch of third-place finishes this year, but his goal, of course, is to win races. And the grass track, all important in off-road racing these days. Everyone has figured out how to pick it up all over the track. It used to be this was a rest spot, an area where guys were just cruising. Even the way the races are run these days, they don't normally push this hard early, or at least they didn't a generation ago. Now they race every inch of these tracks. They leave nothing to spare. And Duvall doing it well right now, holding the champ and undefeated Caleb Russell behind. But a lot of racing to go. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thad Duvall leads the way here in upstate New York. And what goes down must come up in AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Racing. They've got to go up through a water crossing and then a hill climb. So this section of the track, probably the toughest they've seen so far on this first lap. Caleb Russell still in second. Here's Duvall still working his way down, but you'll see it's going to change here in a moment. The incline back to the top begins. And Duvall's always been really good in this terrain. He's especially good in mud, but he's no slouch in this technical stuff. If traction is an issue, he just knows his way around. Now, Sipes, who's in third, I'm impressed with this ride. Again, the converted ex-motocross rider. The tough technical woods terrain, not his specialty. Fans like this, though. Sipes' best this year is a 6th, so much better today running in third. And here's Grant Baylor, the rookie, on the NFAB AmPro Yamaha. Now, this kid gave Caleb Russell all he could handle at our last round. It looked like for a while he might actually end Russell's win streak. So a lot of pressure on him today to try to follow that ride up. And how about Bach? Had that next to last place off the start, so he's moved up a lot of position, still pretty far back on time though. And then it's Andrew DeLong and Jordan Ashburn coming through next, as you see Baylor banging his way through the rocks. New line there off to the left around that tree and trying to close in on those 3 up front. And Bach keeps on rolling. Good pace here for him. Going to try to put a little heat on Baylor, maybe get pulled to the front with him. DeLong coming back from a collarbone injury, looking strong on his Husqvarna, and then it's another NFAB AmPro Yamaha here with Ashburn. But Duval putting the hammer down. Oh, wait a minute. Russell back in the picture. And he has to back it down, I think, a little bit in the dust. And where is third? He can't see us. We can't see him. The dust certainly makes it difficult. It's still Ryan Sipes. And then big Grant Baylor out of South Carolina, the teenager. It was a big change in the offseason. A longtime KTM rider switching over to Yamaha for his pro debut. And good for the series to see Bach and the Johnny Campbell Racing Factory Honda team racing GNCC for the 2nd straight year. But it's Duval and this revamped Fred Andrews Racing team, now with Husqvarna support, making it look easy. Holding off Caleb Russell even on the first lap is a tall order, the way he's been riding this year. Sipes pretty quick through the trees. Back into the open stuff. Duval's going to lead this first lap unless he goes down in one of these big field sections. Now, Thad Duval's always had incredible speed. Consistency has been the issue, but it has been pretty consistent so far this year. 3 third-place finishes in the first 5 rounds, and moving up in the points as well. But like I said when they came through the first time, I don't think he cares at all about the points, the consistency. Everyone's goal right now is to just get 1 race win away from Caleb Russell. And although we're only 5 rounds out of 13 deep, already some talk about a potential perfect season for the number 1. And these guys not going to be happy about that. And I think we saw it at our last race in Indiana, where Duval was quick, Sipes, Strang, that was before he got injured, and Grant Baylor all ran the pace. And Duval just looks on it today. Look at that. Stood up through the most technical sections there. Let's see how Russell plays it. He's up on the bike as well. And Sipes keeping them honest. The fans here in the woods like it. Now, Russell has picked up his game in these technical sections, racing the AMA National Enduro Series this year, as we see Baylor come through in 4th. And the Enduro track's usually a little bit tighter than GNCC. We race ATVs the day before these. As Bach comes through, the ATVs widen the trail just a little bit. But now Russell racing in the Enduro Championship this year where it's single track. And look at this. He has taken over the lead. So Duval must have made an error, and that has moved Caleb Russell to 1st. Sipes revving the engine, telling slower riders in the amateur classes, get out of the way. And they've all got to hustle now, because Russell, when you give him the lead, well, he's basically been infallible this year. The last round, they were able to put it to him just a little bit. Grant Baylor and company able to fight back. But at the checkered flag, he's still at a decent lead. And now it's Sipes and Grant Baylor coming through 2nd and 3rd. Duval, we have heard, has run into brake problems, and he has stopped for repairs. Oh, bummer for him. He was on it today. Let's see if anyone else can bring the challenge to Russell. Watch out for the Honda man, Bach. He's on the gas. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Caleb Russell out front here. AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series from New York. I'm Jason Wygant, your host. Chris Bach, what a charge. He has gotten around both Grant Baylor and Ryan Sipes in the last couple of miles on the move. And remember, he had a terrible start, was way back, rounded turn 1 in next to last, so he has gone through all but 2 riders to get to this position. Sipes now behind Baylor. Man, 4 Husqvarnas started this race very strong, and now they're out of the top 3. Russell working his way through the slower riders from the amateur classes. Getting the pit board, nothing but lap times. That's his mom, actually, pit boarding him here. And it's a total team effort for these riders. Yes, they have a designated mechanic, but anyone else that can pitch in with a pit board, a radio, and some encouragement out there is going to do it. So Caleb's mom, who's been at this helping her son for a long time, no exception, telling him where Bach, Baylor, and Sipes are. What has happened? Look at this. Bach has caught Russell, and we've got a battle for the lead. And he's looking for running room, and he finds it. Chris Bach just went around Caleb Russell like he wasn't a rider that was undefeated and has won the last 2 championships, and now Bach's starting to pull away. And a little mistake from Russell. I don't know if he's shaken up or what. No crashes that we've heard about. But Bach has made up an incredible amount of time in a short amount of time. And Russell not able to respond and stay with him. Now it's early in the race. Maybe I shouldn't get as excited as I've been, but we just haven't seen this. Riders catching and passing Russell this year, a rare sight. But look, Russell immediately wrestles it back. Oh, he's not going to be happy. This guy, he said he's even structured his bonus program this year. He gets paid if he wins. He's betting on himself every weekend. Bach pushed back to second. Nice little flurry from him, though, to get close. And Baylor and Sipes not too far back as well. So shades of what we saw at our last race. They're keeping the heat on him. And look, Bach is close again. So for sure, Russell has to jump on the field, winning the first 5 races. And the points lead, that's not even a worry. But these guys want to win a race. They're determined. Sipes now barreling his way back into 3rd. Best race of the year for him. Best race of the year for Bach. And Baylor picking up where he left off with a great run at our last round. And Bach back into the lead. The long, lanky guy out of Indiana. Look at him just feathering the clutch, trying to get the power down on that Honda. And that kind of work has allowed him to extend it. Russell is going to have to try to close back in. But now, ATVs. Yes, these are highlights from yesterday, where we put the fastest 4-wheelers through their paces. And how about the yellow number 7 of Chris Bithell? Won the last race, his first win in over 2 years, and follows it with a whole shot here. He is not known for his starts, but when you're hot, you're hot. And he picks up $250 extra from AMSOIL as well. A little dry and dusty out in the fields, but you'll see how much muddier it is in the woods where it's shaded. Bithell and his good buddy Chris Borich, your defending champion, are 1-2, and they need runs like this. They both had their share of bad luck this year, as Bryson Neal, your points leader, in 4th, Adam McGill, and Walker Fowler try to close in on them. Eventually, McGill able to take the lead from Bithell. Borich still in the hunt. Watch this move from Walker Fowler. Not messing around. Uses the lap rider to set the pick and take the lead from McGill. Now Fowler, who finished a close 2nd in last year's championship, needs the points. Gas to go for the win today, and that's exactly what he would do. Look at this in the fields. This kid always has a good time. Fast rider out of Ohio would get away, but what a torrid battle behind him. You've got Bithell, Borich, and McGill dueling in the fields here. Dust, what dust? They just kept the throttle pinned and kept going after each other, but then disaster strikes for Borich, your defending champ. He would have problems on the last lap while running in 2nd place. So another huge points hole for your champ. Fowler, meanwhile, doing a great job, takes the win. 3rd of the year, but McGill's 2nd place finish, that's going to help him maintain the series points lead. McClure, Bithell, and Brian Wolf round out the top 5. We'll be right back with more bikes after this. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Well, this is huge. History in the making. Chris Bach, who has never won a GNCC race overall, leads Caleb Russell. Russell has an undefeated streak. He's 5-0 to start this year. So the pressure is on Bach, who's leading on the final lap, to hold on. I don't know what's bigger, Bach getting his first win or Russell getting his first loss this year. Russell's still digging, but it has not been the same. You see the little mistakes there. He has just not been as sharp today. And I've heard no stories at all about sickness or injuries or other problems for Russell coming in. This is just a straight-up fight. And Bach, who finished 7th at our last race, I didn't see any signs of this type of ride coming. His best finish, a 3rd place at our opener, but that was in the sand. Something about this track today just lent itself to his style. And how about Ryan Sipes? It's not taking anything away from him, a solid 3rd. That'll be his first top 3 finish this year, but it's all on this man's shoulders. Every rider wants to win, but I'm sure they all hope that if they can't win, let it be someone other than Russell. And the lead is big enough where he's not really under that much pressure. And Bach, who 2 years ago had basically figured his racing career was over. He had taken a regular job. He was done. He had given it a shot as a pro. Then he got the call from Johnny Campbell, who had long time been the manager of Honda's Baja racing effort. Well, Honda decided to move their efforts east as Russell comes through, a fair distance behind. And Bach was obviously a free agent at that point because he was done racing. Couldn't make money at it anymore. Was never able to break through and get that victory that he wanted. So Campbell called Bach, offered him a ride. They're in year 2 together, and clearly they have figured something out today. And by the way, this will be Honda's first victory in a long time in this series, so good for them. Bach's got to try to finish it off, though. Maybe I'm speaking too quickly, but look at that. On the pegs all the way through there, no mistakes at all. And now the people in the woods are starting to realize what they're seeing. Bach is headed for daylight, and what would be a huge victory. Let's see if Russell can find something special down the stretch. Now remember, the win streak is huge, but it's really all about the title. It would be oh no, a mistake! All right, Bach's okay. I was going to say it would be probably a little bit immature for Russell to let it all hang out just to keep the win streak alive. The real goal is the title. 2nd place today, he's fine. Bach is not really a threat in the title chase since he's only had that 1 3rd place finish, and I think you can see it. It's not Caleb Russell's day today, and if anything shows you how difficult Grand National cross-country racing can be, as Sipes fights his way through the lap traffic in 3rd, if anything shows you how tough it can be, it's a race like this. There's no doubt Caleb Russell's the best in the business, but these rough tracks and all the variables you have to deal with, well, you just can't expect to be perfect every time you're on the motorcycle. But if you're Chris Bach, you're not worried about being perfect every time. You just need to be perfect once. Can he hold on here over the last lap and a half and do this? And what a monumental validation it would be for him. As we mentioned, he had a full-time job. He had gone into debt for his racing. He didn't think another phone call would come, but he got it from the Johnny Campbell Racing Honda folks. And by the way, this has vindicated their decision to move east. Campbell, who won the Baja 1000 and Baja 500 so many times as a rider, could they adapt this motorcycle to these conditions? Could Campbell adapt from being a racer to a manager? And could Bach become a winner? All these things are just a few miles away if he can hold on. But I guess Caleb Russell will be the first to tell you, you never know what's going to happen on these tracks. Even he has been upset today. And look, lap traffic now. Slowing up Bach, and I've got to wonder, how is he staying focused? They always say when you're up front, don't look back, but I believe all these guys know that the shark is coming, and that's Russell, but it's not going to happen this time. Bach is out of the field by himself. He's alone. There's his buddy Johnny Gallagher, who's actually a Yamaha rider in our ATV series. but he and Bach and a lot of the ATV pros ride and train together. And this is going to be a celebration for them all. And heck, I'd say everyone in this XC1 Pro class is going to pat Chris Bach on the back because he has ended Caleb Russell's win streak and won for the first time ever in the Grand National Cross Country Series. Attaboy, Chris Bach. And hey, under any other circumstances, we'd be saying great job to Caleb Russell, second place on the podium, extending the points lead. But he has set an awfully high standard this year. And nicely done for Ryan Sipes, finishing in third for the first time this season. Baylor solid again in fourth, and DeLong bouncing back from the collarbone injury in fifth. Brake problems and a shoulder injury for Duval and Strang. They barely cling to top tens. Well, I almost still can't believe what I have seen today, so let's watch it again with the AMSOIL race recap. Josh Strang, Tyler Medaglia battling for the lead, but before they got into the woods, it was Thad Duval taking control. He had Sipes right behind him, a pair of Husqvarnas. Caleb Russell, though, takes the lead, and we thought, well, it's over from here, right? This is what this guy always does. But somewhere, Chris Bach found something special. He dug down deep. He beat the champ straight up. No doubt about it. His first career victory, and one we will not soon forget. And congratulations to him. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.